Today I got to talk with YouTube star Huck, aka Degen Rips. This guy's ripped like every UFC product that's been released. We talk about his favorite UFC products to rip and his best hits from those products. We look at some huge UFC PC cards that he's recently got, and we get his thoughts on unlicensed autos and unlicensed products. As always, I hope you enjoy this video. All right, everybody. So I've got the mega famous. This guy's got like 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. I got Huck, aka Degen Rips, on the channel today. This guy rips everything. He rips a ton of UFC, and that's mainly why I wanted him on. He's got a great channel. Go ahead and follow him right now. Huck, thanks for coming on today, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. And if anyone's here from my channel, follow him below. This guy, he deserves it, man. Like he deserves it. I wing it, you know. I don't know how I made it as far as I did, but Zach is deserving. Like give the dude a sub if you're here from my
Thank you,
channel,
man.
please. Like it's amateur hour on my channel, but like man, I always talk with my buddy Josh whenever he brings up your videos and such, and I'm just like, man, if Zach was covering like American football, guy would have 50,000 subs by now. Like, seriously, but you stuck to your guns, and I've always respected that. So
Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate the kind words. And, like you're saying, American football, huge topic. Everybody's talking about it. UFC kind of smaller. And that's one reason why I really appreciate your channel is because you do talk about UFC a lot. And I can tell you're a real fan.
yeah.
It seems like you opened a ton of different UFC products. So just kind of like broad spectrum, what have been some of like the super duds that you've noticed, if you've noticed any trends, and then what have you actually had decent success on with the UFC products?
So for all the UFC products, I mean, the one I've noticed that took a price cut like almost instantly was Midnight. I
Yeah.
got killed on Midnight. I open a lot of I mean, as you said, I open a ton of products, but Midnight was the one that I probably took. I don't know what were those going for when they came out,
Yeah,
$300.
300 was the pre-sale, and then I think it bumped up to around 350 or 325 after.
I think I took like a $250 haircut on that
Oof.
product. That was bad. I honestly don't even remember the cards I pulled from it. That's how bad it was.
Hmm.
Um, but man, that product sucked. And I remember just regular Donruss UFC, like that product. It was kind of fairly priced, but the card just held no value. I got
Right.
smoked on that one as well. There was no big case hit. There was it was like Past and Future. What's the name of the case hit that came out? I don't remember.
Yeah,
It
past
was
and present. Yeah, the
Past
lenticular
and
one.
Present.
Dude, I really like
That
that
was
card. They're
I
so
love those
rare.
cards.
So rare.
I saw one at a card show and I was like, where did this even come from? And he said Donruss. I was like, wow, I guess that was the case hit, but yeah, I heard they're like one in a couple cases.
Hmm.
But yeah, like a really good case hit will make or break a product, and but that one didn't really have any. So yeah, Midnight and Donruss, I got just killed on. Didn't really like much about those, but yeah, best product. I think Chronicles UFC.
Yeah, you got a
Chronicles
lot of hits out of
UFC
that.
was what it was $150. You have a shot at a kaboom. The rookie class was great. You had Pereira, Raul Rosas.
Hmm.
Who else had a kaboom in that set? That was a rookie. I don't remember, but
Yeah, I know those
one
were
hundred
probably the two
fifty
biggest.
dollars, $150, and you have a 1 in 12 shot at a kaboom. Like, because I opened football, and absolute football is horrible. That's how you get kaboom. It's so bad. Unless you hit a kaboom, you're looking at a 90% loss on that. So,
Right.
like the risk reward on Chronicles UFC was so good. That was probably one of my favorites. Yeah,
Interesting. I
Chronicles.
never I never opened any Chronicles. For whatever reason, I just decided not to buy that one. But that's good to hear you say that. Maybe in the future, I'll have to take a look at those products and see kind of what the pricing is now. So
Yeah.
you kind of mentioned the difference between UFC and NFL cards. Is there any similarities that you're noticing? Because I know you're a big seller with what you're pulling. Do you notice like separate inserts going for way more or way less, or do you know any like unifying rules throughout the all the different collections you could have?
So I would say UFC is way more is of all the sports, it's very similar to WWE cards. Just like the legends and legend autos, people pay a premium for those, I think, more compared to rookies. Like in football, you've got legends that have just signed so much and are in so many different products, so many cards made of them from 20, 30, 40 years ago, where
Right.
with UFC products, they're not that old. It's not as oversaturated with autos. So legend autos and legend numbered cards and legend case hits definitely hold up and do way better
Mm.
than legends for football, baseball, um, uh, yeah, and basketball too. Like basketball outside of LeBron, I mean, and I guess LeBron's technically not even a legend; he's still playing. But it just numbered cards of guys like Larry Bird,
Right.
even Larry Bird autos, even Joe Montana autos, Steve Young autos, Dan Marino autos. They don't pay as much of a premium as legend autos in WWE and UFC. Like John Jones, his autos are definitely not oversaturated. WWE, Stone Cold Steve Austin, like The Rock, anything numbered of those guys, people love and go crazy for. And I feel like it's similar with UFC cards. I do. Um,
Yeah, that's a good point about the like the Larry Birds of that world and kind of that generation, and then trying to tie it into to UFC. We see guys like Hoist Gracie's been signing a ton, GSP's been signing a ton, and I always thought that maybe those cards were going for too low, but I've never compared it to like NBA or NFL where like so like in comparison, what does like a Montana or a Bird go for in comparison to like what the top rookies of the day or just the modern cards are going for.
well, I think a Montana auto definitely. I mean, I just pulled something. A Keon Coleman. He's a receiver on the Bills. A rookie auto of this guy. I think early second rounder. And I mean, I have it on eBay. It's going to do $200.
Oh wow.
And if I pulled that same card just without the rookie badge of Joe Montana, it's probably half, I would
Yeah.
imagine, worth about half. Um, I would say if you open a UFC product, you pull an Anderson Silva auto gold to 10, and you pull I mean, I don't know who some of the bigger rookies are now. Maybe you pull like, I don't know, unless you pull like a Diego Lopez or
Yeah.
something. Most rookie autos, even ones that aren't good, like I'm saying, Keon Coleman, like a Keon,
Right.
I don't know who the Keon Coleman equivalent would be.
Yeah, just like a
Rookie
no-name
UFC.
random rookie from this
Yeah.
class.
Oh, Anderson Silva would, I'm sure, sell for 4, 5, 6 times
Yeah.
as much as that. Whereas with football, yeah, you could get a rookie second, third round, and they could be tenth best player at their position in the
Right.
draft. You're still looking at just if it has that rookie badge, way more than the legends. Even guys like Barry Sanders, out of this new composite set, like Stroud stuff goes for way more
Yeah.
than Barry
That's so
Sanders.
crazy, man.
Yeah, it
That's
is. It is.
insane. The speculation is insane. So I guess I'm happy to hear that in our little UFC world, maybe we're not as crazy as everyone else. And that's
Yeah,
probably
no.
I feel like the other sports have so much money behind them. Maybe that's why people are maybe we're peasants, we're plebs, we're poor over here in the UFC land, and we can't
Yeah,
speculate as much. But
yeah,
very
no,
interesting.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted
And no, continue, keep going.
since we're talking about like big name legends and big pulls, I was asking Huck like what his best hits were out of some of these products, and you sent me. We'll go over to screen share here. You sent me this one here, and this
Yeah,
looks. Tell me about this card, man, because this looks like a massive, massive card, and it's Aaron Judge, huge base. I'm not a huge baseball guy. Even I know who this guy is.
yeah, yeah,
On the Yankees, tell us about this card.
yeah. So before things got really crazy in my area with restocks and all the like if you've seen on my channel people fighting at restocks and
Yeah.
people going nuts. I used to do videos where I would record restocks, sort of like the YouTuber Sky B, if you've ever heard of him. He does his card hunting videos.
Mhm.
But I would do that. I would go to restocks, just see what was there, and then I would just grab a box or two off the shelf and then open it after I got home. So I was just doing this, a routine, just checking up on a Walmart restock, looking at the shelf. And there was really nothing good that week until I saw like the clearance section and they had this Top Heritage Mega Box. I like this set. It's fun and it was like $20 off. So I was like, screw it up. For the video, I'll rip it. And yeah, out of a clearance box, I pull this Aaron Judge Super Fractor. That's a 1 of 1 Aaron Judge. That was just about around the time he broke the home run record in a
Oh
season.
wow.
And yeah, I threw that together in a trade package for a Tom Brady auto. So again, it was so improbable and crazy out of a damn clearance box. I was with my buddy
Yeah.
Ethan at Walmart, just plucked it up, and I couldn't believe it. Just
What were those
silly.
megas going for? Do you remember the price of that?
I mean, at full, it was like $50, and then it was
Oh
down to, I
wow.
think, 30, 35, $30
Dude, that's
for just
awesome.
Topps Heritage. I just out of a clearance box.
So
Pretty insane.
so I looked up this card wondering like what you did with it. So is this the so you
That's
traded it
it. Yeah,
off?
yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
So
No,
so he
that's
he graded it and sold
no,
for
I graded
this?
it.
Oh, you graded it. Okay, so this is your
I
set.
graded it. Yeah.
Nice,
Wow.
man.
That
That's
was
that's
what I
insane.
sold for. Wow.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. What a hit. I mean, I always try and advocate, and actually, this is a kind of a good segue. Like ripping, obviously, I haven't ripped as much as you, but I've ripped a decent amount. And man, it's rare that you ever make your money back. So, like, what I know, one of my favorite things about your videos is the recap at the end, just to kind of see, like, okay, let's see kind of what value he got in this. Just kind of like broad scope, macro view. What percentage do you think when you open, you actually make value or like pull something good?
Ooh, it's a man. It's the thing is, it goes like this. I'd say 8 and 10 boxes, you don't make your money back. 8 and 10 is probably, that's probably a conservative. It could be up to 9 and 10. I
Yeah.
don't know. But,
Okay.
but when you do make your money back on a box,
You
it's
hit the you
usually
hit the Aaron
because,
Judge.
yeah, it's usually
Yeah.
because you get a big card. Like
Hmm.
you get a really big card. But what you can do is also to sort of maximize the profit that you get back. Like I'll open a box, $50 mega box. I'll get $30 back. But if I get a $10 card, I grade it, get a 10, sell it. Then I'm green for the box. And then you add, ad revenue on the video and such. But
Right.
it's like grading is super important. Grading, I think, and if you think a card could get a 10, it's a couple bucks, and you could time it right when you get the card. Like why the hell not grade it? But yeah, it's man, it's bad. It's horrible, and it's only getting worse. Like
Yeah. So have you noticed
only
with the last couple of years with Topps increasing like a print run and then Panini increasing print run, have you noticed it being even harder with the products nowadays to get hits?
Oh, absolutely. It's really really bad now. Probably worse. It's I remember starting and base people would want base cards. Like if it was a base card of from a good set, like a Donruss or Optic or Prism, that would pay for your box or at least most of it. If you just
Oh
hit a
wow.
base card of a quarterback or like a good play like an Anthony Edwards or
Hmm.
something or a good player, one of the top couple players of the draft, you'd get a chunk of your box back, but nobody wants base cards anymore. Base cards are pretty much dead. And at least when you opened a box, even now you can always count on you're going to hit a base card of a top rookie. But now that
Right.
you could hit the top rookie and it's less than $5, it just made it really tough. You got to get that case
Right.
hit, that 1 in 10 box. It's so
Yeah. So that
it's
that
gotten rough out there.
that floor is just completely gone because of the base. Do you think that may return in the future? Do you think base cards will make a resurgence, or you think it's just completely dead because of the print runs now?
Yeah, base cards are dead because of the print runs, and to go a step further, PSA 10 base cards are dead too. There's just
Right.
way too much of that. So yeah, base cards are just fluff. Like it
Yeah,
just
dude.
it
It's
really is. It's
kindling.
just fluff in the box. It's bad. It's I don't know a single product from Prism to Topps Chrome. You know, Wembenyama, I think Prism is down to maybe 60 or $70 and dropping. It was like $200
Yeah.
raw, and it just drops and drops and drops when the hype eventually goes away. And I imagine it'll just keep going down. I can't see a
Right.
reason it would go up. Even if he is amazing, he's Jokic on steroids, you know, like everyone thinks. There's just too many cards. Yeah.
Right.
I can't see it. I can't see it unless there's maybe some horrible economic depression. Nobody can afford cards anymore, and Panini and Topps have to just make way fewer boxes, like cut down
Yeah.
drastically. That's the only way I could see that happening. So
Awesome, man.
yeah.
Um, we're talking about the trash base, but now let's bring it back to some freaking hits, dude. And
All
we'll
right.
talk
Yeah.
about we'll talk about some of your hits that you've gotten. Go ahead and tell me kind of how this card came into your life. How'd you get this one?
So this was I had opened a PO box for my channel. You know, people were just telling me, you know, I want to send you stuff. Open a PO box. So I finally do, and this just lunatic maniac Paul from Fort Myers a select sends me a select UFC hobby box, like
Wow, that's
full
awesome,
blown
man.
box. I couldn't believe it. Like, how do you even accept a gift like that?
Yeah.
Like it almost like yeah, I was kind of pissed. I'm like, you know, what do you do? Someone
Yeah.
sends you $300 box, I think those were. And yeah, no, and this was before he became double champ, I'm pretty sure. Or you know, the light heavyweight
Yeah.
champ. I pulled that, and I at the time I knew it was a huge card. I mean, he's an animal, and I just yeah, just he sent me that box.
Dude, that's
That was in it.
crazy.
Lost my mind, and
Rightfully so. Went
he's the
absolutely
man.
berserk.
He's you know he's their guy. The UFC,
Yeah.
that's their guy right now.
What were your plans with it then, and what are your have they changed since he's so big now? What are your plans with it now?
Well, I mean, he's fighting Roundtree next, so he'll probably win. You know, you never know, but I can't see him being champ for another year. I hope it seems like he wanted to go up to heavyweight. The UFC kind of said, you know,
Yeah.
don't do that, don't do that. And then he wanted to fight Ankalaev or that was sort of what made sense.
Yeah.
And the UFC was like, you know, we don't want you to really do that. But I think he is an amazing fighter, Hall of Famer. He is gonna lose within the next year to a grappler, wrestler, whoever he fights first. I don't know if he'll go up to heavyweight. I don't know what the deal with that'll be, but he's awesome. He fights a lot. He doesn't say no to anyone. Um, I think he's a fan favorite. He'll be a legend. I don't think I could really sell that one. I don't think I
Nice. So
could
you're
sell.
keeping it? Are you gonna ship it off to get graded, or are you just gonna keep it raw?
I did. So I did. I graded it with SGC.
Hmm.
I asked Paul what he wanted. He loves SGC, so gave it to SGC. It was pretty off center. It got a 9, but
Okay.
I mean, who the hell cares? It's a gold
Yeah, man.
Alex Pereira.
This is.
Who
I mean,
cares?
that's one of his best cards right here. Definitely
Yeah,
can't get
no,
mad at that. And
beautiful card.
we got
Yeah,
another gold banger. So tell us about
yeah.
this National Pride GSP.
So yeah, that's at a Chronicles again. Chronicles is unbelievable. Chronicles, I hit that out of Chronicles, Gold GSP, and I hit the Raul Rosas Kaboom out of Chronicles as well. And that those have just been the best bang for your buck. But I love GSP so much. I really think he's probably the greatest to ever do it. But like I have this like weird OCD about cards and stuff. Like I'm extremely picky. And that tiny little sliver of his auto going off the sticker,
Yeah, right here.
it just it like I'm a sicko, so, like,
Yeah, I hear
it
you.
hurts me to look at the card, like, I love the card so much, but I just look at it and I just hyper fixate on the autograph being off the sticker, so I graded it and sold it, just hoping I would, use that
Yeah,
money to buy another GSP card someday. Still haven't done that, but he's a guy. I mean, gold GSP
yeah,
Prism. It's a pretty unbelievable card. It's just the auto just kills me.
yeah. What did
It
this
just kills
grade for,
me.
by the way? With the auto coming
It
off?
got it got a 9. Yeah, they gave
Yeah,
it a 9. Probably yeah, because of the auto, but
yeah, very very nice card though.
still beautiful. Gold is gold, like
Oh
pure gold.
yeah. And
And then yeah, yeah,
we'll go into some of your PC here. And actually, when I saw you this card in the background a while back,
yeah,
you were doing a
yeah,
video. This was in the background, and this was when I was really like thinking like, man, I need to get a Silva 2006. And then I saw your 10, and I was like, okay, I have to start saving for this card. And this is the only SGC 10. So you are the owner of the Pop One. So what made
yeah.
you buy this card? How'd you get into this one?
So Anderson Silva, I just have just the my most vivid memory of being a fight fan was his knockout of Vitor Belfort. I just was watching. It's just a great memory. I was with my dad, some friends. We bought the pay per view. We were just watching at home, but I mean, before that front kick, there was really not many knockouts in the UFC like that. They were just so precise and brutal,
Yeah, that
and
was
a
a nasty
front
one.
kick. And it just stands out the most vivid to me of all my memories of watching the UFC. And Anderson, and not only the fight itself, but what Anderson did to Vitor before that fight. Wearing that white sort of like Phantom of the Opera mask at the weigh-in. If you remember that, he just broke him before the fight,
That's
and then
awesome.
he would just do that. I remember the story with Forrest Griffin. He had to pop a Xanax the night before the fight just so he could sleep because he was so scared. And he's Anderson's just always been my favorite. His walkout is the greatest. The Ain't No Sunshine DMX walkout is the greatest. When he does interviews, he's just so enigmatic. He has this like very light Michael
Yeah.
Jackson like boyish
It's
voice.
a very likable guy. Seems very joyous.
Yeah, he's my favorite of all time, my favorite to watch in his prime. And I've always wanted this card. I just looked at it like that's his, true rookie card. And I've just always wanted it. And it's probably my favorite card that I own because, like you said, it's a pop one. And relatively speaking, MMA isn't that old, when you compare it
Yeah.
to baseball, soccer, football, anything. And having that card really feels like I'm preserving history of the sport, of the hobby. And I just don't feel like that with any other card I have, where it feels like you're really preserving history. And I traded that. I mean, some people think I was dumb for doing this, but I pulled a CJ Stroud downtown out of
Okay.
just a Donruss football hobby box or blaster box,
Oh
actually.
wow, that's a good hit too.
Yeah, that's one of my greatest hits ever too. And people were I mean, Stroud was amazing. Everyone knew Stroud was great, but like I was like, this is my opportunity to get that card. So sold that card for a grand. I think they're selling for like 1,300 right now, but sold that card for a grand and just used that money. Hit while it was in my account. I
Yeah.
just hit the guy up on eBay. I was like, hey, would you do a grand for the Silva? He was like, yep, sure. I'll do it. And there it is. Like no regrets at all. Stroud's a beast, but I don't have to lose sleep. Thinking about his next game or anything like that.
Oh man, I think that's a
I love
great
this
I
card.
think that's a great swap, honestly. I mean, the pop on this, I did a video on it. I forget it off the top of my head, but it was insanely low across everything, like across all of the major grading companies. It was super low still for this to
Yeah,
be the only SGC 10. And I think the SGC tuxedo fits this card like so beautifully,
yeah,
man. This is such a nice card, and like you said, it's a perfect mix of history between the sport and history in between cards. So I think that's a great trade. And honestly, Stroud, that's 1 year, man. Like, you know how it
yeah,
is. The QBs tend to regress in the second year regardless. So I think that's a great trade. Anybody who says otherwise can get a Anderson Silva front kick to their teeth. That's what I say.
Yeah, right. Yeah, true.
And we'll move on to this massive Bones. Dude, this is such a high grade. When I saw you send me this, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I've ever seen a 9.5 with 10 auto. How'd you come into this one?
So I got this one at Dallas Card Show. I wanted to go to a big card show. I heard Dallas was the best. I mean, the Nationals looked at as the best, but there's lines. It's very overcrowded. It's in
Yeah.
Cleveland. No offense to Cleveland, but like I went to the Dallas Card Show and a guy had this, and I was like, again, I want to preserve like the history of MMA within cards, and I feel like this is one of those cards where I had an opportunity. This is, again, I mean, top three greatest fighter ever. Could many people, most people probably think he's the greatest ever, and I can't argue with that. And it's his first autograph. It's history. It's in such a high grade, and I couldn't pass it up. I think I paid 2,100 cash for it.
Do you know what the
Um,
pop was on this one?
it's definitely under 20. It might have
Okay.
been like, I don't know. It was really, really low. And I combed it out. Like I took like 2 or 3 laps around the show, just thinking about it,
Yeah.
thinking it over. And I was like, yeah, I can't leave this place without buying this card. And I mean, people people talk now about, he's fighting Stipe, he should be fighting Aspinall. What if he retires? And I just like it's silly what this guy has done.
No, it
Will
doesn't matter.
never
Yeah,
be
it
done
doesn't matter.
again. He cleared out 2 or 3 generations of fighters. Just like he's the greatest ever. I guess is he still the youngest? Was the youngest champ
Yep,
ever?
still has the title
It
for
still
youngest
is.
champ
Yeah,
ever. I mean,
yeah,
to me, statistically, John Jones is like basically he's the LeBron of the UFC. Like the longevity
yeah,
of greatness that he's had. I don't know if anyone will ever touch any of his numbers as far as the longevity goes because he's been on top of the game
yeah,
for so long, and it's a beautiful card, man. And then we got Bones once again here, and the reason I wanted to talk about this card is I feel like this card is a little bit slept on for
yeah.
whatever reason within the UFC world, but I really like these autos. And what made you want to get one of these?
So I traded this card straight up for that Raul Rosas Kaboom.
Oh,
That was when,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. So that was right when the product came out, so over a year ago. And I mean, Raul Rosas is great. He's what 19, 20 years old, and I just in my years of being in the hobby, I don't think I've ever regretted once getting rid of a rookie card, selling a rookie card. I've only, like I said, I think the only time I've ever paid the price for selling a rookie card was Stroud. But I mean, that's one in
Right.
so many rookie quarterbacks and basketball players
Yeah.
and UFC fighters in the last 5 years. So the Raul Rosas, I just saw, he's 18 at the time, and he's a hell of a fighter. He is probably going to go pretty far in the UFC, but he's so young. So much could go wrong.
Oh yeah, man.
One bad fight kills his
Hmm.
confidence. One bad knee injury,
Yep.
anything, and then I see right in front of me this John Jones card, and it says John Bones, which was I thought
Hmm.
sick. He used his nickname on the auto, and I just saw it. I said to the guy, "Hey, straight up, just raw, just the kaboom for the John Jones." He thought about it. He's like, "Yeah, let's do it," and that was it. Straight up, Raul Rosas for John Jones. I just thought, like, man, in 10 years, if Raul Rosas never, amounts to anything,
Oh
and
yeah, that's
you
a
tell
steal.
people, it's like it's crazy. Like Raul
Yeah.
Rosas for John Jones, the GOAT, an autograph. Kabooms are cool. Everyone loves kabooms, but I mean that's such a sick autograph. 2010. It says Bones on like his
Hmm.
nickname. I love that card, and zero regrets on that.
Love it, man.
Zero
Love it.
regrets.
Anytime you're selling sell. I loved Josh is saying sell the hype, buy the goats. I really do think that is such a safe play for everyone that is collecting because, like you said, there's so much that can go wrong with these young rookies and young fighters, and
Yeah.
especially with how volatile fighting is. Like one injury, like you said, you get starched and your brain is just never the same, and then you have a
Yeah.
glass chin. Like so much can change so quickly. And just talking about cards that you want to purchase in the future, I wanted to ask you about that. And you hit me with the Fisto. So talk about the Fisto for us.
I mean, that card is so cool. It's I guess they just dipped their fists in ink and just kind of pressed on it, or
Yeah,
what it looks like wax or ink. It's just
it's
there's
a
nothing
crazy
like
one.
that in any other sport. It's unique, it's cool, it's one of the greatest martial artists ever. That's their fist imprint. I just think that's so cool. That is definitely a card I want, especially the GSP one. Just because I don't have a GSP card. I really want a
Yeah,
GSP
you
card.
sold that national pride. You got to get the
Yeah,
GSP back in house.
yeah. The National Pride one, it was cool when I hit it, but man, it's just like having an itch that you just can't scratch, and I had to get rid of it, and
No, I completely understand.
yeah,
Yeah, one thing that
it's cool.
the only negative I think about these is the size of these because they're not like normal card size.
Oh,
So
they're not?
no, I'm pretty sure these are like pretty big. Um,
Oh,
just because of the fist size. Like if we look at our fist, there's no way, you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
so I have never seen one of these in person. I wish I would have that opportunity, but I'm pretty sure that these are like maybe like 5 or 6 inches. And so like when you're talking about displaying, like I have all my good stuff I try and put in the display case. I'd have to come up with a unique display solution in order to
yeah,
put this one on there. But these are insane. And
they
Tops,
are
if you're
cool.
listening, I know the president of Tops, Michael Rubin and Fanatics are listening to us right now. Give us some fistos, man. That would immediately
Yeah.
make waves. That would make waves for us.
Oh, that would be awesome. If they wanted to get real creative and do that, like, why the hell not?
Why not,
Those are
man?
so cool. They're still so cool. They're so awesome.
um,
They 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 do those things with the Wemby cards, like he had Wembenyama draw like a little alien on his cards. Like
yeah,
we could get more creative than that. We could bring the fistographs back. Like those are
yeah, dude.
those are so cool, man. I love those cards.
Yes, sir. And speaking of basketball, we got the is it Risache? How do you say his last
Yeah,
name,
yeah, yeah.
man?
I'm pretty sure
Risache?
that's how you say it. Yeah, like very, very French sounding. Yeah,
Yeah,
research. Yeah.
we got another Frenchman. And you were really quick. I saw a video you had. You bought a lot of him before the NBA draft. And do you want to kind of talk us through some of like the flipping around your thought process with that, and maybe we can apply some of that to the UFC collecting.
So yeah, when I'm looking for prospects to buy and flip, I'd love to look at betting odds. Like I know
Mhm.
I could do all my research, I could do everything, but it's like it's already there for me. You got
Right.
super smart people making the betting odds, calculating risk, and casinos are sports books are insanely profitable, and these guys make odds for they have their reasoning, and so when I'm looking for prospects, I just love to see a good risk reward ratio. I like to see you know and I like to so I was looking at betting odds for first overall pick for the NBA draft. I was following it for months. They've had the odds up for a while, and that dude Risa Shea was always at the top.
Yeah.
Always, it would go back and forth between him and Sar, but this guy Sar didn't really have many autos. He wasn't in any big products. So this Risa Shea guy has no one's really ever seen him play. No one's cared about him. And, at the crux of things in the football season in February, January, I was just scooping up all this guy's autos, all his cards, gold autos for stupid amounts. And I've never seen him play. I don't know who he is. I've never watched a second of him play on YouTube, nothing, know nothing about him. But I just know how drafts work, what
Mhm.
happens to people around draft time. They go cuckoo. It's like they're literally on some kind of drug that just just destroys their inhibitions, and they need to buy these prospects cards at whatever prices that they're listed at. And that's what happened. I was just stocking up on their cards while everyone was watching the NFL. Everyone was talking about the NFL and
Mhm.
Brock Purdy, Mahomes, Stroud, buying tons of this guy's stuff, just studying the mock drafts, studying betting odds, bought a lot of this guy's stuff and graded it. I looked at pop reports, which of his cards graded the best,
Uh-huh.
and these masterpiece cards grade insanely well across all sports. They're in Bowman football and basketball, and they grade so well. So I was just buying tons of them, and just 10-day auctions ending at draft night, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour after he was drafted,
Hmm.
lined it up perfectly, and yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
that's
sold now.
crazy, dude.
$193, and then
That's
what, a month
awesome.
later it's back down to 180 something dollars.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a great flip.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
you remember what you bought that specific card? What you were into it for?
I could pull it off my phone, but it must have been like
Just
$70.
okay, yeah. So less than 100. That's probably what I was thinking. That's awesome, man. What a great flip.
Crazy, yeah. Yeah, no, this guy was one of my most profitable flips, like
And you said you
absolutely
loaded up on
crazy
him. So how did you sell all those
right
cards?
here. So yeah, sold all of them draft night. I mean, I'm not
Awesome.
gonna I don't know who he is. I'm no basketball expert, but yeah, like sold them 78, or that's what I bought them for,
Yeah,
78,
perfect, dude.
75
Perfect.
for those, and they both sold for like
Yeah.
500 something bucks. But that was one of my most profitable flips. And another one was Bo Nix. Just draft night again.
Yeah.
Draft nights are so profitable. People of their fan, like they're so excited. People of a fan base that
Right.
get a new player. They're not thinking clearly. They
Bo
just
Nix is the next big thing. He's gonna be the
yeah,
greatest of
yeah,
all time.
yeah. He went in the first round. He's got to
Yeah.
be good.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, Bo Nix, licensed, unlicensed, doesn't really matter to me. People love autographs.
Okay, perfect segue for the licensed, unlicensed. So we've got. I wanted to talk to you about licensed and unlicensed because I noticed on your channel you open a lot of Leaf. You open a lot of unlicensed products. What has your experience been with opening those? And before you answer that, what do you think about just unlicensed autos of specific athletes?
I think it's great. I think on card. I mean, like that. I think that's on card, right?
Yeah.
I hit a Jackson Holiday on card from Goodwin Champions. He's just a good baseball prospect, and I think it's awesome because even though they obviously don't sell for as much as licensed stuff, you don't have to be into a product if you're going to rip a product. The best thing about unlicensed from Upper Deck and Leaf and Wildcard is the 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 products are very fairly priced. They're you're not going to get taken out on a stretcher. You're not going to get killed. And I mean, for UFC, I mean, I think that's awesome. Taporia, it says rookie. It's on card. He's a champ. Like I don't know how many on card autos he has in UFC. It's probably just from Immaculate, right? Like
Yeah, so I want to say this was even before he got an auto with anything. So I want
oh
to
wow,
so this one and this Jamal Hill, these are like
yeah,
technically their first autos. So like
yeah.
how would you look at that as a collector knowing that they had an unlicensed auto before they got printed with a licensed product? Would you still respect that as like the first auto or kind of what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm for football and basketball, it's maybe a little different. I'd say it's a case by case basis, but I would definitely count those as their
Yeah.
first autos. And I mean, if he goes on to beat Holloway and become like a dominant like two division champ and Hall of Famer, people will definitely want that autograph. I think more than a Topps Chrome auto than anything like that. I mean that's I think unlicensed is just fine, especially when the price point is
Yeah,
right for the
for sure.
products. But yeah, what Leaf has done lately, they've been really signing a lot of young NIL athletes and
Mm,
high school players, and they've been getting autos of these guys before Topps and Panini, and I've been just selling a lot of these guys autos, and it's looked at as their first auto. Like, for example, Luke McCaffrey, he just got drafted to Washington. He's Christian McCaffrey's brother, and his first ever auto wasn't in one of those Bowman College products or Prism draft picks. It was in Leaf.
Okay.
And this auto sold for a lot of money. Someone paid a lot of money for it because I would only assume they paid that much because it was looked at as his first auto and they wanted his first auto, or else they would have waited and it wouldn't have sold probably for
Right.
as much as it did because he's really not anything special. He was like a fourth or fifth rounder,
Yeah. So do you
but
think it's more of a flip opportunity, or do you think long term these will hold value? Kind of what's your thought on that?
I say long term that
Yeah.
would be
Okay.
just fine. I really do. It's on card, rookie, and on the back, it says 2023 or whatever, and
Hmm.
it just shows that was the year that was before all the other big cards were made of him and big autos. And I definitely think purists and real fans of Tapuria would want that. So I don't know what those are selling for now, but on card of him, and he could really be something very special. I
Yeah.
think, especially that one. That's a really cool one.
Yeah, there's some cool images. I didn't look up prices. I should have looked up, but I know that UFC Card Fiend has one of these Topuria unlicensed cards, and so that kind of like made me think about this topic for us. And
Yeah.
what's kind of some advice, just general advice you have for people as far as like maybe flipping, maybe collecting, maybe some negative things that you've done, whether it be buying or selling that maybe some newer collectors could avoid?
So yeah, my first year in the hobby, I just got smoked. I tried everything. I tried buying singles of like the best players, the best rookies, and almost none of them panned out. I got killed on that. The other thing was anytime I would open a product, Mosaic football. I was mostly opening football, Mosaic football, Donruss football. I was saving all these cards. I was holding on to them, thinking they would go up, and they would just be an iconic card and whatever. But whenever new sets come out, people forget about the old ones.
Hmm.
It's very fickle market. People will move on from players very fast, and the odds of you finding someone a very special rookie player that you're ahead of the curve on and you think they're going to be amazing is so slim that you look at this last year's football draft, for example, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. You
Yeah.
had people on the Panthers, they're not dumb. They have some of the most intelligent
Hmm.
people that have grown up playing football, coaching football at all levels, evaluating talent,
There's so much
and they got
money
it wrong.
too. Yeah,
And
there's
those guys
so
got it
much
wrong.
money.
Yeah. No, so much money. It's absurd. And those scouts got it wrong when
Hmm.
they told the Panthers to draft Bryce Young over Stroud. So you can't be delusional enough to think you're better than these scouts that thought I forget who was picked ahead of Alex Smith picked ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Chiefs guy, he gave us a lot of
Yeah,
good years. He gave us a lot of good years
yeah,
with the
he
Kansas City
did. He
Chiefs.
really did. He
But he's no
did. I
Rodgers.
mean,
He's no Rodgers, though. I
yeah.
completely
But
agree.
like people just like it's a crapshoot. You could
Yeah.
be a genius. You could watch so much YouTube and study your numbers and your stats, but you're really not smarter than how things. You're not going to be Nostradamus and see everything play out the way you want it to. It just doesn't work like that. The only thing I know for certain is Tom Brady won 7 rings. The only thing I know for certain is LeBron is going to be, top 5 player all time. Um, uh, I know Anderson Silva and John Jones are going to be looked at as top 5 fighters ever. Um, GSP, all these guys, and when it comes to selling cards, it's a lot like stocks because that's sort of my background. And the best time to sell a stock is when it's the absolute hardest time to sell a stock.
Yeah,
When it's
great.
going up, you're hearing all this great news. You think everything is so good and cushy and perfect. And oh, this guy, his team's looking amazing. They're going to win the Super Bowl. I can't sell now. That's usually 9 times out of 10 the best time to sell. And if that person goes on to win the Super Bowl, you know, if you sold these other prospects, it'll add up and you'll be profitable in the long run. If you sold these prospects when they were hyped up, um, it's just it's it's a lot of it is going against your own nature. I mean, a lot of people love to collect, and I would say if you're picking cards to collect and you're picking cards to hold on to long term, have an emotional reaction when you look at this card. If you look at a card and a
Yeah.
good memory doesn't pop into your head, if you look at a card and you feel like, if you know, if there was a flood and this card is destroyed, I wouldn't even lose sleep. I wouldn't really care. Um, I would say, you don't really need it. And 99.9% of cars I come across or pull out of a box, I just don't care for it at all. I've heard it over and over again. This guy is going to be the next Peyton Manning. This guy is going to be the next LeBron. This guy is going to be the next Jordan, Kobe, whatever it is. And it doesn't work out. And in any sport, we could just list off, even in MMA, how many prospects
Oh yeah.
that just don't pan out. And that's why, when I sell my Bo Nickel and Raul Rosas cards, I
Hmm.
mean, those guys are amazing. They could go on to be champions and whatever. I've heard it just so many times with other people that, if they do, good for them. But I would say the odds are way stacked against them.
Yeah, and
And
even let's even take a guy like Brandon Moreno, a guy that did make
yeah,
it to the top, that was at the top for a while, had an incredible championship run. Like, I mean, if you're talking about like value, his cards are,
yeah,
super cheap right now. So why not wait until after these people have accomplished what they've accomplished and then potentially buy in, let them pan out or fizzle out completely, and then you
yeah,
can, just potentially get it even cheaper. So
yeah,
I love that analogy to the stocks, man, and yeah, it's really hard for us to sell when things are going good, and for whatever reason, when things are cheaper, sometimes that same item we don't even want, which I think is always really odd. Like
yeah,
the Brandon Moreno that you wanted when he was 300, he
yeah,
accomplished all that he did. Now you don't even want it, and it's
yeah,
like, dude, what happened?
yeah,
So it's really an interesting emotional connection that we sometimes have to these cards. But
yeah, yeah.
thanks so much for coming on, man. It was a
Of
great
course.
pleasure and an honor to sit and talk with you. And
Likewise, likewise,
continue to
likewise.
kill it over on your channel. I remember one day I looked over and you were up at like 15 or 20K, and you do a great job. And I always appreciate watching all of your rips over there, man.
Uh, Thank you, Zach. And it takes a lot of balls to carve out a niche within a niche like UFC, and you do such a great job at it. And it's so important to give other people a voice that love the UFC and love UFC cards and feel like we're just such a small group and there's no real voices and representation. And you do such a good job with that. And people at Tops, and they definitely see it. And they're making new products for us, and they're
Yeah.
taking it very seriously. And I just don't think that would really be very possible if there wasn't a vocal online community of people sort of pushing them in that direction. So I think your voice is very important, more important than mine. I really think that. And you do a great job with editing quality. And if anyone's here for my channel, I really hope you sub. I really do. I hope you sub to Zach. I hope
Thanks,
you
man.
do.
Appreciate it.
He's the man. So no, this was great. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Take care. See you, everybody.
Thank you, man. Thank you.